If you think that marriage and love are the same thing, then you are living in a fool's paradise, and you are still asleep. I tell you to come back to reality. Love and marriage are not the same thing. But in many cases, marriage is born out of love, and sometimes love is born after marriage. But nowadays, the first thing is more trending. We all dream of love. We are obsessed with it after the first sight, late at night, before the date, and at various times. But no one dares to ask, what really happens when the fairy tale of dating collides with the reality of marriage? Why do the spark fade? Why do couples change? And why do so many people say, after marriage, it's never the same? The truth is, dating and marriage are two completely different worlds. Dating shows you the highlight reel, while marriage gives you the uncut reality. One thrives on freedom, the other demands responsibility. One is about chasing the spark, the other about keeping the flame alive. And most people don't realize this until it's too late. In this video, we're going to break down the raw, unfiltered truths about marriage versus dating, the parts nobody talks about, but everyone secretly feels. By the end, you'll not only see relationships in a whole new light, but you'll also understand the hidden keys to making love last in today's world. So grab a seat, open your mind, and let's dive into the truths that could change the way you see love forever. Number 1. The illusion of dating versus the reality of marriage. Dating feels curated because it's meant to sell an idea of who you are, who you could be together, and what life might look like. But that curation is designed. We filter, we stage manage, we leave out the parts that make us vulnerable. That's not dishonesty so much as selection bias. Both partners pick the version of each other they want to keep seeing. Let's dig deeper. There are predictable human forces at work when we date. First impressions, halo effects, and social signaling. A person who smiles easily and tells funny stories occupies prime cognitive real estate in your mind. Your brain tends to forgive or ignore inconsistencies because the overall vibe fits the story you want to believe. This is why chemistry can feel like fate, because your brain is wiring the narrative for you. Marriage, by contrast, is relentless. It amplifies patterns. The little habits you could politely overlook for months become daily rhythms. That cheerful person who forgets to text back while dating may, in the marriage context, be the person who repeatedly doesn't follow through on chores or childcare. When exposure is constant, patterns are the truth teller. So what practical steps protect you from marrying a trailer instead of the movie? 1. Look for behavior under stress. Create low-stakes stress tests before marriage. Plan a travel day where flights are delayed. Organize a joint task with deadlines, or simulate a money planning conversation. Notice who moves toward repair and who fractures. People who can apologize, adjust, and collaborate under pressure are reliable long-term partners. 2. Check consistency across contexts. Does the person behave differently with family, friends, colleagues? A partner who's sincere with strangers but dismissive with service workers or controlling with family reveals values in action. Values are enacted more in ordinary contexts than declared in speeches. 3. Ask for small commitments and watch follow-through. When someone promises to do something small and fails repeatedly, that's meaningful. Romance thrives on promises kept. Dating often focuses on grand gestures. Marriage is built on tiny acts repeated for years. 4. Talk about the boring stuff, not just dreams. Discuss taxes, weekend routines, sleep schedules, mental health needs, and what alone time looks like. Often couples avoid these topics until after a wedding, when those seemingly minor mismatches become major sources of friction. 5. Use a reality checklist. Before deciding to marry, run through items like financial transparency, conflict style, avoidant, aggressive, collaborative, family expectations, long-term goals, and deal breakers, kids, work mobility, caregiving. Make the checklist mutual. If one person refuses to discuss practicalities, that's a red flag. Finally, remember, empathy matters. The person you fell for isn't a villain for being human. The problem is when fantasy trumps observation. Marriage isn't about exposing the other person as a fraud. It's about seeing them fully and choosing to partner with their complicated, imperfect self. The maturity to do that without romanticizing or demonizing is rare but essential. Number 2, freedom versus responsibility. Freedom and responsibility exist on a seesaw. In dating, your life is modular. You can compartmentalize. In marriage, modules merge into shared systems. So the question couples rarely ask is, how do we design a life that preserves meaningful independence while honoring deep, mutual obligations? First, map the domains where lives overlap. Finances, living situation, social networks, family care, career choices, and parenting, if applicable. Each domain carries different stakes. Money is particularly revealing. It forces negotiation about values and priorities. Who saves? Who spends? Do you share accounts or keep separate ones with a joint fund for shared expenses? There's no universal right answer, but avoiding the conversation is the surest way to create resentment later. Second, examine psychological freedom. A person can be legally bound but feel emotionally free if both partners have negotiated boundaries that protect identity. Examples: maintaining solo hobbies, having one evening a week for personal projects, or preserving a friendship that's important to one partner. These micro-freedoms fuel identity and reduce the collapse people feel when they lose themselves in marriage. Third, accept that responsibility creates new kinds of freedom. Paradoxically, financial and emotional safety allows deeper experimentation that dating's fragility cannot support. Being able to rely on a partner during illness or having someone to co-parent dreams into practical daily steps creates opportunities that single life often can't afford. But this comes with trade-offs: extra accountability, shared emotional labor, and the administrative burden of life. How do successful couples navigate this tension? 1. Negotiate explicit agreements. Put things on paper: who manages the bills, careers, contingency plans, and how decisions about big moves are made. Use if-then clauses. If one of us gets an opportunity to work abroad for more than a year, then we'll... 2. Anchor in values, not rules. Instead of rigid prescriptions, anchor decisions in shared values. E.g., we value growth. We also value family time. Values create flexibility without chaos. 3. Divide responsibilities consciously. Don't let default gender or personality roles dictate work. Choose them intentionally. Revisit and rotate tasks to avoid burnout and to foster empathy. 4. Keep channels for renegotiation open. People evolve. Make quarterly or annual check-ins to renegotiate roles and expectations. Normalize change. 5. Protect solo identity with micro-rituals. A Thursday night alone, one hobby a partner supports, or a guaranteed no-kid weekends policy for career breaks. These rituals maintain autonomy. Responsibility can feel like loss if framed as sacrifice alone. Frame it instead as co-creation. What responsibilities will you shoulder together so both of you can pursue a fuller life? That shift in language from "I lose" to "we build" is powerful. Number 3. The spark versus the flame. The spark is an accelerant, fast, bright, and addictive. It draws attention, creates urgency, and encourages risk-taking. But a long life together depends on steady heat, the flame. Narratively, spark is the opening montage. Flame is the long, patient scene where characters show up for the daily work of being alive together. Let's look under the hood. Dopamine drives novelty. Chasing it gives us the thrill of discovery. Oxytocin and vasopressin are the chemicals of bonding and caregiving. They reward the behaviors that sustain long-term attachment. Knowing this helps demystify why the initial rush fades. It's biology switching gears from courtship to partnership. People who confuse spark for love face a hard choice. Chase novelty forever, serial dating, or deepen the existing relationship. Both are valid life strategies, but produce very different outcomes. If you want the stability of marriage but are wired to chase novelty, conscious work is required. Here are practical ways couples turn sparks into lasting flames. 1. Create ritualized novelty. You don't have to overthrow your life. Add predictable unpredictability. Once a month, try a new experience together. A cooking class, a city day trip, a shared creative project. Novelty doesn't need to be expensive. It needs to be new. 2. Practice micro-affection. Small daily actions. Texts that say, "I saw this and thought of you." A 60-second back rub, leaving a note. Build emotional bank accounts. Micro-affection compounds like interest. 3. Cultivate play and curiosity. Play dissolves resentment and resets perspective. Make time to be silly, to ask childish questions, to role-play. Curiosity about your partner's inner life, asking, "What are you reading? What scares you now?" keeps intimacy alive. 4. Invest in repair skills. The flame relies on repair after inevitable hurts. Learn to apologize, to accept apology, to de-escalate. Couples who master repair feel safe enough to be vulnerable. Safety fosters depth. 5. Design shared projects. A pet, a garden, learning a language. Projects create a forward-looking shared narrative. They give you collective wins and stories to anchor your bond. 6. Practice gratitude rituals. Weekly or nightly expressions of appreciation recalibrate attention toward positives. Gratitude turns mundane acts into meaningful threads. If the flame has died down and you want to rekindle it, try a 30-day experiment. Each day, one person plans a tiny surprise, and both commit to 10 minutes of undistracted conversation. Track feelings. If there's a shift, double down. If not, consider couple therapy. The flame can be rekindled with guided help. Remember, flourishing relationships are less about constant fireworks and more about steady practices that create warmth, safety, and growth. The goal isn't to make marriage feel like dating again forever. It's to make it feel like the most interesting, supportive, and enlivening context for both partners' lives. So, here's the truth most people don't want to admit. Dating and marriage are not two versions of the same story. They are two completely different books, written in different languages. Dating is about attraction, discovery, and excitement. Marriage is about responsibility, endurance, and growth. Dating thrives on sparks, but marriage demands a steady flame. And while dating shows you the highlight reel, marriage gives you the full, unedited footage of life, complete with bloopers, breakdowns, and breakthroughs. But does that mean one is better than the other? Not at all. The truth is, both dating and marriage have their beauty, and both come with their struggles. The real question isn't which is better, but which are you prepared for? If you crave freedom and novelty, dating gives you that. If you long for depth, stability, and a partner to build life with, marriage challenges you to rise above your own comfort and step into growth. The biggest mistake we make is expecting marriage to feel like dating forever, or expecting dating to give us the rewards of marriage. They are different games with different rules. If you enter marriage expecting only romance, you will feel trapped. But if you enter it with the awareness that it requires work, patience, and evolution, then marriage becomes not a prison, but a platform, a foundation where love doesn't just sparkle, it endures. So ask yourself honestly, what do you want and what are you ready for? Because the answer to that question will shape not just your relationship, but the quality of your entire life. And if this video opened your eyes or gave you a new perspective, make sure to hit that like button, share this with someone who needs to hear these truths, and subscribe for more deep, raw discussions about love, psychology, and life. Until next time, stay wise, stay self-aware, and never stop growing.